Hello, my name is Evan Dillon, and I am the lead developer for MoneyBinder, which is a web-based accounting software created for software application domain for the 2021 fall semester at Kennesaw State University. For this course, we were split into groups, and we were each tasked with learning about a domain, which was accounting, and building software for that domain. This application was built using the Agile development methodology and divided into 5 2-week sprints. At the end of each sprint, we presented our work to the class and the professor in order to ensure our application was accurately reflecting the requirements. For the framework, we used Ruby on Rails. We used Bootstrap for our CSS framework. For our database, we used Postgres, SQL. For the cloud platform, we used Heroku, and for the version control, we used GitHub. So now let's take a tour of the MoneyBinder system. For starters, there are 3 types of users or user roles, and that is the admin, the manager, and the accountant. This is the login page. If the user enters a username that does not exist, then the system will say no username is found. If we enter a username that does exist with an incorrect password, it'll say incorrect password, you have 2 attempts left. If we use both of these extra attempts, it says this account has been suspended for 1 minute. For testing purposes, this has been set to 1 minute, but this can be set to however long. From here, the user can also create a new account. So let's go ahead and create a dummy account. And there are a few different password conditions that the password has to meet. So let's create a password that is going to fail. We'll just leave the number as 770 and the address. There you go. Password must have a letter, a number, and a special character. And there we have it. So the request for your account has been sent to an administrator to approve. An admin will be sent an email with a link, and the email will say that a new user has requested access to the system, and if they click that link, it will take them to the user management page to approve that user. So let's go ahead and log in as the admin. So as you can see right here, here's an auto-generated username, tuser, and they are not activated. So actually, if we go back and try to log in as that user, this account is not active. So let's log back in as the admin and activate that user. Okay, so now let's try to log in. And there we go. T-user now has access to MoneyBinder. If we log back in as the admin, we can take a look at this user management page. This is a page that only the admin can see, and they can create users or edit users, as well as see a report of expired passwords. So as you can see, there's this one user called expired user, and their password expired 0 days ago, or they have 0 days left on their password, and they should be notified immediately. To reset their password, you can do that at the login page. So if the user enters their email, an email will be sent to that user, and if they follow the instructions, it will allow them to reset the password for their account. All 3 users can see different aspects of MoneyBinder. So continuing with the admin view, the admin lands on this dashboard page, which has different ratios and percentages on it. Next is the chart of accounts page. This is a list of all the different accounts. Only the admin can create a new account and edit existing accounts. So let's go ahead and create a new account here. Leave the initial balance as 0 and create account. And if we look here, there we go. There's test account. These two links will take you to the ledger for that account. Obviously, because we just made this account, there's nothing here. But if we go to an account like cash, you can see all the different journal entries that have affected this account and the state of each one and the date. Now, if we want to edit that account, we can go right here. So let's add a description, and let's update that. Now, all these changes are in the event logs. So if we go here, there is an account logs, and as you can see, we have added and modified. So we added that test account before there was no account, so there's nothing here. Then this is the things that we added. If you want to click here, you can view the things that were added, just a bigger list of the account details. Then another action is modified. So here we just changed the description. We can't see that here, but if we click the view, there it is, description. There's nothing here, and now it says testing 1, 2, 3. There is a third event log action for accounts, which is deactivate. Only accounts with a balance that is 0 can be deactivated. So if we try to deactivate prepaid rent, it's going to say you cannot deactivate an account with a balance greater than 0. So let's go ahead and try to deactivate land. There we go, and that should show up on the event log. Perfect. The only thing that changed is we changed it from true to false. Go ahead and move that back. The user also has the admin user also has access to the entry logs and the user logs. So entry logs just show every journal entry that has ever happened, and we'll get more into this from the manager and accountant view. The user logs, only the admin can see, and it just shows all the changes to the users. So there's modified. If we want to add a new user, that will get logged. If we want to deactivate a user, that will also get logged. And this just shows some more information. And this is the user management page that we demoed earlier. Again, only the admin can view this page and gives a bunch of different functionality with the users. All these search bars also work. And you can change everything or add a new user. Next up is the manager view. So again, same as the admin, they land on this dashboard with a bunch of gauges. This is new to the manager. It can only be seen by the manager and accountant. It cannot be seen by the admin. So this is the journalized function, and this is one of the biggest features of MoneyBinder. So this is already preloaded with a lot of sample problems that the professor gave us, or a sample problem that the professor gave us, and this is all filled out for a demonstration. So you can filter all the journal entries using this. So if we want to look at all the accounts between 100, or all the journal entries between 100 and 500, there we go. We can see all those. If we want to filter these by date, we can do that as well. Or if we want to filter by status, there's 3 statuses: approved, declined, and pending. So there we go. You can also clear filters right here. You can also search just like all the other tables. So if we want to look for cash, There's all the accounts that affect the cash account, all the journal entries that affect the cash account. Let's go ahead and create a new journal entry. All journal entries must balance, so if we debit from cash and credit from accounts receivable, these two numbers have to balance. If they do not, the system will say total debits and total credits are not balanced. So let's do $1 here, and let's do $1 here and $2 here, and that should balance. We can also add as many rows as we want. So let's go ahead and create a new journal entry. As you can see, those amounts balanced. It allowed the journal entry to be created, and now this has created a pending journal entry. Oh. You can click on the status button and it'll go to a little more details on the journal entry. Shows you the source documents and the description. So from here, only the manager can approve or decline this journal entry. I'm going to go ahead and leave this as pending. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and decline this and demonstrate another feature. So now this did not affect the ledger for these accounts. So if we go to the cash account, we should not see a debit of $1 at the very bottom. And we do not. Everything has stayed the same because it has been declined and it hasn't affected those accounts. So let's go ahead and create another journal entry, and let's add some source documents. So let's just add, let's see. So let's go ahead and add this PowerPoint, this docx, and this PDF. There you go, 3 attached files, and let's create this journal entry. There we go, journal entry's been pending. And if we click here at the status, we can look at the source documents. We can view this file and download it and print it, or we can click here and it'll download that file as well. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this journal entry pending so that when we log in as the accountant, we can see what the accountant sees. As you can see on the chart of accounts, we cannot edit accounts or create new ones like the admin can, but we can still look at the ledger for each account and click at the post reference for each one of these. Event logs are very similar, but we do not see a user management event log. That is only viewable by the admin. But everything else about this is the same. As you can see, only approved journal entries show up in the journal entry event log, so our declined and pending journal entry are not in here. Next up are the reports. So the first report is the trial balance. As you can see, these are balanced. These match up perfectly with the sample problem. And we can save this PDF. There you go. Or we can email this to any of the users in the system. So we can send this to the admin. This will say report has been successfully emailed to admin. Next up is the income statement. All the reports have these same email to and save PDF buttons. Next up is retained earnings. As you can see, retained earnings beginning is 0 because it's the first time we've used the software, so we had no retained earnings from last year. Next up is the balance sheet. Again, all of these we can click Save PDF, and we can choose to download or print the PDF from here. And that is it for the manager view. Next up is the accountant view. The accountant view is very similar to the manager view, except the accountant cannot approve or decline journal entries. So as you can see, here's a pending journal entry, and the user cannot accept or decline that journal entry. Only managers can. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same. Let's go ahead and create a new journal entry. There we go, and there's a new journal entry pending, and we cannot approve or decline it. Only a manager can see that. Every time somebody makes a pending journal entry, all the managers get an email that say there's a new journal entry that is waiting for approval. Again, accountants cannot edit or create new accounts. Event logs are very similar in that the accountant can only see account logs and entry logs. They can still click on the ledgers and the post references for all the journal entries. Reports are the same. And that is it for the accountant. Next up, let's log back in as the manager and create a closing entry to zero out the accounts. As you can see, here is the journal entry that the accountant has made. I'm going to go ahead and decline that. Okay, and right here, only the manager can click this arrow right here, which will say create closing entry. So let's go ahead and do that, and it'll auto-generate a closing entry. So let's go ahead and zero out the books and hit approve. There we go. Now if we check the dashboard, a lot of these should be zeroed out, and they are. Event log should have logged that, and it did. We can click the details on it. There it is. And now the report trial balance should be different, which it is. Again, these match the sample problem as well. Income statement should be zeroed out, as well as the balance sheet should stay the same, but the retained earnings should have changed. So now retained earnings beginning, or net income is now at retained earnings beginning, and the books have been zeroed out. Next up is the ability to email any user. So any user is able to email any user, and so this just gives the username, email address, and they can click this and email whichever user. So this says, we got tooltip, send an accountant an email, send an admin an email, etc., etc. Last but not least, we have a help button, which presents the user manual, and anybody can go through this and it will explain how MoneyBinder works. And that will conclude this demonstration of MoneyBinder and its features. Thank you so much for watching.